It started with the sound of engines. Black SUVs rolled slowly into the dusty compound of a rundown house in Lagos. Children stopped playing. Neighbors stepped out in wrappers and torn singlets, mouths wide open, and then, the moment no one could ever have imagined happened. The doors of the SUVs flung open. Tall men in dark suits with earpieces stepped out. They didn't glance around. They moved with quiet purpose. One of them, an older man with grey-streaked hair, opened the back door of a Rolls-Royce Phantom, and just before he did, he turned and said, "Boss, we are here, sir." From the mud house, a man stepped out. His shirt was faded. His sandals were worn out. Wild hair, thick and uncombed beard. But every man in a suit bowed to him. Right behind him was Monica, the bread seller. 18-year-old Monica, with her familiar iron tray of bread, her long skirt and matching headscarf. That same Monica the neighbors used to laugh at. Now standing beside the man the security men called boss. And when they both entered the Rolls-Royce, someone whispered, "What is happening?" No one had an answer, but Monica knew. And that's where her story truly begins. Before this day, Monica had always been the kind of girl who smiled through pain. After losing her parents in a car accident at age 9, she didn't cry for long. She couldn't afford to. Life didn't wait for tears. Her uncles and aunties came during the funeral, made promises, and left her with empty words and no help. She became her own mother, her own father. With her tray of bread balanced on her head, Monica walked the streets of Lagos from 6 a.m. every morning. She sold bread to mechanics, bus drivers, school teachers, and sometimes kind strangers. She saved every little she could. It was from this little that she bought her books and uniforms, and somehow managed to graduate from high school as the best student in her class. Still, nobody came to sponsor her, and yet, Monica didn't give up. Her late mother's voice always played in her mind. You don't need everything to help someone. From the little you have, give. One day, it will come back to you. And so, she kept helping people, sharing her bread when someone looked hungry, offering a bottle of water to a tired stranger, and she did it without expecting anything in return. Then came the homeless man. It was a Tuesday morning, the kind of morning when the Lagos air smelled of exhaust, pepper soup, and opportunity. Monica had just finished selling 5 loaves and was counting change under the shade of a mango tree when a quiet voice called out, "Excuse me, sister." She turned. He was sitting on the ground by a wall, just beside a rusty gate. He looked rough. His shirt was torn at the collar. His hair was wild. His beard was thick and uncombed. He looked like he hadn't eaten for days. Monica blinked, unsure. People avoided men like this. They were afraid. But Monica? She walked up to him. "Yes, sir?" The man gave a faint smile. "My name is Adam." She tilted her head. "I'm Monica. You sell bread?" "Yes." "Why so early?" She smiled. "Because I need to. I lost my parents when I was 9. I've been doing this ever since." Adam nodded slowly. "You're strong. I haven't eaten in 2 days, but I'm not asking you for help." Without another word, Monica removed a full loaf from her tray, the biggest one. She handed it to him. Adam looked at it, then looked at her. "Why? Because you need it more than I do. My mother used to say kindness brings miracles." Adam took the bread with shaking hands. "Thank you," he whispered. "One day, I'll help you back." Monica laughed softly. "I'm not doing this to get helped. I just know what it feels like to have nothing." And just like that, something in Adam's heart shifted. The next day, Monica passed by again. Adam was in the same spot. She waved, smiled, and after a few jokes gave him another loaf. "No," he said, "I don't want to ruin your business." "You're not," she insisted. "I sell a lot. This is just one." That was how it began. Each morning she passed by, and each morning they talked. About life, about dreams, about the people who forgot them. Monica told him how she wanted to study engineering. "I want to build something. I want to make cars that can run on sun and air," she said one day. Adam listened. He never laughed at her dreams. One morning, as she prepared to leave, Adam reached into his pocket and gave her a folded envelope. 20,000 naira, she gasped. From where? I carried goods in the market for one man. He paid me well. Monica looked at the money again. No, this is too much. You're the one who needs it. Take it, he urged. Let it be the first step to something bigger. Monica finally agreed, but only took half. Use the rest for yourself. That night she cried, not because of the money, but because someone cared. Really cared. Not out of pity, not because they wanted something, but because they saw her, and that someone looked like a beggar. A few days later, when she didn't see Adam in his usual spot, her chest grew tight. She waited, looked around, asked people about him. When she finally saw him returning from the market, dusty and sweaty, she ran toward him. I thought you left, like everyone who cares about me left me to suffer, she said, breathless. Adam smiled. Even if I leave, I'd take you with me. And before Monica could say a word, Adam dropped to one knee, right there on the roadside. He pulled out an old silver ring. I don't have much now, he said, but I will do everything I can to send you to school. I will build a life with you, if you'll let me. Monica stood frozen, then slowly, she smiled through her tears. Yes. That simple word changed her life forever. When Adam followed her to her house to help pack her things, the neighbors jeered. See her with a madman? She wants to marry a beggar. She has thrown her life away. But Monica didn't care. She had chosen someone who saw her, someone who believed in her. Then Adam pulled out his phone. David, bring the cars. I'm sending location now. Cars? Plural? Before Monica could ask, they heard the sound. Engines. Convoy. And when the black SUVs rolled in, the laughter from the neighbors stopped. And when the men in suits bowed and said, Boss, we're here, Monica's heart skipped. Who are you? She whispered. Adam turned to her, calm, smiling. My name is Adam Johnson. I own Johnson's automobile. Her mouth dropped open. Then the Rolls-Royce door opened for her. Monica stood, frozen. Was she dreaming? But the man she thought was homeless had just called a convoy, and the whole street had seen it. She stepped into the car, and everything in her life changed in one breath. The soft hum of the Rolls-Royce engine felt nothing like the noisy Danforth buses Monica was used to. As the car glided through the streets of Lagos, her fingers clutched the edges of her skirt, and her eyes darted between the tinted windows and the man seated beside her, the same man who once sat barefoot outside a rusty gate. Adam Johnson? She repeated, her voice shaky. Johnson's automobile, that one that makes those big jeps on TV. He nodded slowly. Yes, that one. Monica's chest tightened. She didn't speak again for a long time. Her head spun. She looked at his clean hands, the way he now sat straight with quiet authority, yet still so gentle. Nothing like the fragile man who once begged her for bread. Why, she finally asked, voice low, why pretend to be homeless? Adam sighed, looked out the window, then turned back to her. I got tired, Monica, he said. Tired of fake smiles, gold diggers, journalists pretending to be in love just for stories. I wanted to meet someone real, someone who didn't see my money first. Monica blinked. So, you threw everything away? I didn't throw anything away, he smiled. I stepped aside, just to see the world without filters. No money, no title, just me. She stared at him. And you chose me. He reached for her hand. You didn't see a beggar. You saw a person. You shared your bread with me, even when you didn't have much. You believed in my dreams, before knowing they were real. Monica's eyes welled up. I still can't believe this. I thought I was helping a man who had nothing. You were, he said gently. I had nothing, until I met you. As the convoy turned into a massive black gate with golden spikes and security cameras, Monica leaned forward, stunned. Is this a hotel? She asked. Adam chuckled softly. No, home. The gate opened slowly to reveal a sprawling mansion with water fountains, a flower-lined driveway, and glass walls that sparkled under the morning sun. Dozens of staff stood outside, drivers, maids, chefs, all dressed in uniform, all bowing slightly as the Rolls-Royce came to a stop. When the door opened and Monica stepped out, someone called out, "Welcome, madam." She froze. Madam? Was that for her? "Come," Adam said, taking her hand and leading her up the stairs. The floors glistened beneath her feet. Inside, golden chandeliers hung from high ceilings. A long red carpet lined the floor, and a grand piano stood beside a sitting room large enough to be a church. Maids walked up to her with towels and drinks. Madam, would you like to freshen up or eat first?" Monica turned to Adam, helpless. "I'm not used to this." Adam smiled. "Then get used to it." That night, she sat in a soft bed covered in silky sheets. Her room was bigger than the whole house she used to live in. On a table sat a note. "You deserve all of this. Sleep well. Adam." She clutched the pillow and cried, not from sadness, but from the weight of joy that felt too big for her chest. Only days ago she was hawking bread, dreaming of a future she might never see. Now she was living in a mansion with a man who saw her as more than a bread seller. The next morning, Adam took her to a high-end university in Lagos and walked her straight into the registrar's office. Monica felt like she was floating as he paid her tuition in full, arranged for her books, and even enrolled her in the automotive engineering program. "Why this course?" he asked. She grinned shyly. "Because I want to build something that moves people. Just like you moved me." He touched her cheek. "Then I'll make sure you have everything you need." Within weeks, Monica was living a life she had only seen in movies. Chauffeurs driving her to school, private tutors helping her adjust, classmates staring in awe at the girl who once smelled of egedje bread. But with success came whispers. News spread fast. The girl who used to hawk on the streets of Lagos now lived in Banana Island and attended the most expensive university in Lagos. And soon, the phone calls came. "Monica, this is Uncle George, remember me? Auntie Adana, your mother's elder sister, says hello. Your cousins want to come and visit you." People who ignored her when she wore worn-out slippers were now calling her our pride. They flooded her phone with stories, tears, and apologies. One even came to the mansion. "Monica," he cried dramatically, "forgive me, I was lost. I didn't know how to help, but now that God has lifted you, don't forget your own people." She listened quietly, then spoke calmly. "When I needed school fees, you said I should go and learn tailoring. When I begged for food, you told me suffering builds character. Now you're here because you think I'm rich. Monica, please." "I forgive you," she interrupted, "but I don't owe you anything." And she walked back into her mansion. A few months later, Monica stood beside Adam at an industry event. Cameras flashed. Reporters asked questions. Someone said, "Isn't she too young to be the future head of engineering?" Adam held Monica's hand and smiled proudly. "She's not the future. She's the now." Behind them, a giant screen lit up. Johnson's automobile, launching Nigeria's first solar electric car, designed by Monica, the girl who once sold bread at bus stops. On a quiet evening, Adam knelt beside Monica in the rose garden behind their mansion. "I've waited long enough," he said. "I want to do this the right way." He brought out a diamond ring, bigger than her fingers had ever seen. "I know I asked you once, as a homeless man, but will you marry me now, as a man who wants to give you the world?" Before Monica could answer, the garden lights dimmed. There was a loud sound in the sky. Fireworks exploded into the stars, spelling one word, "Marry me." Monica gasped. Then her phone rang. She looked down. It was unknown number. She picked it up, and a cold voice said, "If you know what's good for you, stay away from Adam Johnson." Her heart stopped. Monica froze. The phone trembled in her hand as the fireworks continued to burst above her in colors of gold and crimson. Adam was still kneeling, the diamond ring glittering in his fingers, his smile slowly fading as he noticed her pale expression. "Monica?" he asked gently. "What is it?" She didn't answer at first. The voice on the phone had been calm, too calm, as if the speaker wasn't trying to scare her, but was simply stating a fact. "If you know what's good for you, stay away from Adam Johnson." Monica ended the call, her throat tight. She forced a small smile, trying to push the fear aside. "Sorry," she whispered. "It was just a wrong number." But Adam's eyes narrowed. He had built companies from scratch. He could smell fear. And Monica was scared. "Are you sure?" he asked, standing and holding her hands. She nodded too quickly. "Yes. Please, let's not ruin this moment." Adam didn't press further. He slid the ring onto her finger, and Monica leaned into his chest, trying to hold back the tears. But they weren't happy tears. Something had changed. Later that night, long after everyone had left the garden and Monica had gone to bed, Adam sat alone in his study. He picked up his second phone, the one he never let anyone touch, and dialed a private number. "Trace the call that came into Monica's line tonight," he said, discreetly. "Understood, sir." Adam ended the call and leaned back, staring at the framed photo of his late father on the wall. A memory flashed. His father on the hospital bed, whispering, "When you rise too high, your enemies will stretch even higher. Be ready." She should have listened more closely. 3 days later, Monica was walking through campus when a woman approached her. She was tall, in high heels and a black designer gown, holding a sleek leather handbag. Her eyes were cold, like ice that had never melted. "Monica, right?" she asked, smiling thinly. Monica hesitated. "Yes, who are you?" "I'm Madison Vale," she said, "Adam's business associate." Something about her tone didn't sit right. "I just wanted to say," Madison continued, "you're quite the story. From bread seller to billionaire's fiancé, you should write a book." Monica smiled awkwardly. "Thanks, I guess." Madison stepped closer. "But fair warning, Adam's world isn't all love and fairy tales. Some of us worked for years to be where he is, and we don't like interruptions." Monica blinked. "I'm sorry?" Madison leaned in. "You're not special, Monica. You're temporary." Then she turned and walked away, her heels clicking like gunshots. That evening, Monica sat in her room, the ring on her finger feeling heavier than before. She remembered the voice on the phone, Madison's icy words, the way Adam had gone quiet since the proposal. She needed to know more. While Adam was out at a board meeting, she walked into his private study. She'd never been inside before, it was always locked, but he had given her a spare key weeks ago and told her, "You're free to go wherever you want. I have nothing to hide." But inside the study, she found something that made her heart skip, a locked drawer. After searching around, she discovered a key taped beneath the desk. It opened the drawer. Inside were old journals. She flipped through one and found a page with scribbled handwriting. It was a note, written to himself. "She must never know the real reason I left. If she finds out what happened in London, it'll all fall apart." Monica's hands trembled. What happened in London? Who was she? That night, Monica sat across from Adam at dinner, too nervous to eat. He noticed. "You're quiet," he said. "I went into your study today." Adam froze, his fork mid-air. "You told me I could go anywhere," she reminded him softly. "I did," he said carefully. "I found your journal." There was a long silence. "Monica," he said slowly, "there are things I haven't told you. Not because I didn't want to ruin what we have." She looked at him, her voice shaking. "Then tell me now, what happened in London? Who's trying to scare me away from you?" Adam put his fork down. 3 years ago, he began, I was engaged to someone named Madison Vale. Monica blinked. "Madison? The woman who met me on campus?" He nodded. She was charming at first, smart, beautiful, but she was after the company, not me. She planted a spy in my board of directors. When I found out, I ended everything. She threatened to destroy me. Monica's heart raced. So why is she here now? Because Adam said. She always said she would come back for revenge. And now, she knows you're the one I love. The next morning, Adam received an envelope, no return address. Inside was a single letter. Call off the engagement in 48 hours or the footage goes live. Attached was a blurry, still frame. It showed Monica, selling bread, talking to a customer. And next to her, someone who looked like she was handing off a small white envelope. Drugs? Money? The image was unclear, but it was enough to stir rumors, enough to ruin reputations, enough to crash stocks. Adam slammed his fist on the table. She faked this. She wants to break us. But Monica had already seen it. She's going to destroy you because of me, Monica said, her voice hollow. Adam grabbed her shoulders. No. She's trying to destroy us because she can't stand what we have. Monica turned away, tears in her eyes. She's right, Adam. I don't belong here. Adam moved to her. You do. I didn't choose you by accident. I chose you because you're the only thing in my life that's real. Monica looked up at him, but her eyes said something. Her lips didn't. That she was starting to wonder if loving him had put both their lives in danger. That night, Monica wrote a note. Just one page. Then she packed a small bag, took off the ring, and left it on Adam's desk. As she stepped out into the night, a taxi waited. From a distance, Madison watched from the shadows, a smile curling on her lips. She whispered into her phone. She's leaving him. It's done. But behind the mansion gate, someone else was listening. Someone with a camera. Someone who had their own plans for Madison Vale. Plans that would change everything. The mansion was silent. Adam stood in his study, the note from Monica shaking in his hands. I love you, Adam, but I refuse to be the reason your world burns. You gave me everything. Now let me return it with peace. Don't look for me. His knees gave out, and he sat on the floor, the diamond ring still on the desk behind him, glittering like a cruel joke. His whole chest felt like it had caved in. She was gone. But something in his gut told him this wasn't over. Monica sat quietly in the back of the yellow cab, her head resting against the window. The city lights of Lagos blinked past like ghosts. She clutched her bag tight to her chest. In her mind, she kept hearing Madison's voice. You're not special, Monica. You're temporary. But Monica wasn't running because she believed Madison. She was running because she was scared. Scared that by staying, she would become the reason Adam lost everything. The cab stopped in a quiet part of town. An old house stood in the shadows, the same compound where Monica once hawked bread. The same place the neighbors once laughed at her. She stepped out. No more guards, no more maids, just silence and streetlight. She was alone again, or so she thought. Back at the mansion, a quiet figure emerged from behind the garden wall. His name was Benedict, one of Adam's longest-serving staff, unassuming, loyal and smart, and until now invisible. He walked into Adam's office. She didn't go far, sir, Benedict said, revealing a GPS pin on his phone. And she didn't leave because she stopped loving you. She left to protect you. Adam looked up, bloodshot eyes searching for hope. How do you know that? I've been tracking her phone, Benedict admitted. With all due respect, sir, I never trusted that woman. Madison. Adam stared at him. She's working with someone inside your board, Benedict continued. The envelope wasn't just a threat, it was bait. And Monica took it. Adam stood up, fire in his eyes now. No, he said. No more running, no more hiding. I'm bringing her home. Monica hadn't even been in the compound for 2 full days when her past showed up in the form of 2 men, her uncles. The same ones who left her hungry, the same ones who ignored her cries for help after her parents' funeral. Now they stood in front of her, smiling like snakes. Monica, our daughter, one said. We heard the news. Why did you run? Do you know what that man has? You should fight for him. Bring us in, let us support you. Monica stood still. Support me? When I begged for 5,000 to register for my final year exams in high school, you said I should go and marry a carpenter. That was then, the other uncle said quickly. You know, times were hard. Times were hard, she snapped. No, your hearts were hard. And with that, she turned and walked back inside. Behind the door, she cried, not because she missed them, but because even now, they thought of her as a tool to reach someone else's riches, not as a person. That night, Monica received a text from an unknown number. Come to the abandoned factory behind Ikeja. Come alone. Adam's life depends on it. She froze. Who could this be? She tried to call back, but it didn't ring. The number had already been disconnected, but something in her heart told her it was Madison, and that if she didn't go, something terrible would happen. She didn't know she was being watched. Benedict handed Adam a file marked Madison, Project Serpent. She's been manipulating board members, Benedict explained. She's close to taking enough shares to force a vote to remove you as CEO. Adam slammed the folder shut. She's using Monica to get to me. She thinks breaking Monica breaks me. Sir, we can strike first, Benedict said. I found the original CCTV footage from that day she tried to frame Monica. The girl wasn't receiving drugs. She was paying for plantain. The so-called envelope was just newspaper used to wrap food. Adam's jaw clenched. Then we expose her. Benedict paused. There's one more thing. He pulled out a hidden camera photo, taken 2 nights ago. Madison, speaking to someone on the phone, the man's face blurry but familiar. Adam stared at it. That's one of my board members. Yes, Benedict said. She's working with your own people. Monica arrived at the old factory just past midnight. The wind blew through broken windows, chains hung from the ceiling, shadows danced. Hello, she called. Silence. Then Madison stepped out from the darkness, wearing all black, a pistol in her hand. I told you to stay away, Madison said coldly. But you didn't listen. Monica's heart pounded. What do you want? You took everything. You made him choose you. Monica shook her head. He was never yours. Madison stepped closer. He was mine before you ever sold your first loaf of bread. Then suddenly, the lights burst on. Men in tactical gear stormed the building. Drop the weapon, someone shouted. Madison spun, but it was too late. Adam stepped out from behind the guards. Monica gasped. Adam? But Madison wasn't done. With one wild scream, she raised the gun and there was a loud sound. A shot fired. Monica screamed. Someone fell. Monica's scream echoed through the abandoned factory as the shot rang out. Smoke curled from the gun. Madison stood frozen, eyes wide, the pistol still in her shaking hand. Adam's eyes darted across the room. Then, Monica gasped again. Benedict, Adam's head of security, was on the ground. Blood oozed from his shoulder. I'm fine, he shouted, clutching the wound. It's just a graze. In one swift move, the security team tackled Madison, disarmed her, and pinned her to the ground. She screamed, kicked, and spat as they slapped handcuffs on her wrists. You ruined everything, Madison shrieked. You were nothing but a street girl. You're not even his level. He belongs to this world, not you. But Monica didn't respond. She ran to Adam instead, her arms wrapping around his chest, as if she was trying to protect him with her whole body. You okay? She whispered. He nodded. Now that you're here. The next day, the internet exploded. Videos of Madison's confession leaked. She had been recorded the moment Monica walked into the trap. Adam's team had secretly installed cameras in the factory and wired Monica with a hidden mic. The footage revealed everything. Her threats, her lies, her involvement with board members, and the biggest shocker, her plot to take over Johnson's automobile using forged signatures and a private Swiss bank account. In a matter of hours, her world crumbled. She was arrested on charges of attempted murder, corporate espionage, and defamation. Board members who had secretly worked with her were exposed. Adam regained full control of his company. And Monica? The nation called her the bread seller who broke a crime ring. Days later, Benedict recovered in the mansion's private medical wing. Monica brought him pepper soup and laughed when he joked that he deserved a promotion for taking a bullet. You already got one, Adam told him, smiling. Your head of security and loyalty. The moment felt light again, but it wasn't over yet, because Adam still had one more thing to do. Exactly 1 year after the day Monica gave a loaf of bread to a stranger on the street, she walked down the aisle in the grandest wedding Lagos had ever seen. The venue was a glass-domed garden overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Guests included African presidents, international CEOs, Nollywood legends, and everyday people Monica had touched along her journey. Her old teachers, neighbors who once mocked her, even market women she used to sell bread beside. As the choir sang and violins wept, Adam stood at the altar in a custom black tuxedo, tears in his eyes. Monica stepped forward, gown sparkling like the stars. She was no longer the girl with an iron tray. She was a woman who had endured, fought, loved, and forgiven. And when they exchanged vows, the crowd cried with them. "You once gave me bread when I was starving," Adam said, placing the ring on her finger. "And you gave me peace when I had nothing else," Monica whispered, sealing the moment with a kiss. 3 months later, Monica graduated as the best student in mechanical engineering. She was offered positions by foreign companies, but politely declined. Instead, she joined Johnson's Automobile as lead engineer and the mastermind behind Nigeria's first solar-powered car, the M-Breeze, named after her. She launched a foundation too, From Bread to Brilliance, sponsoring orphans and poor girls across Nigeria, helping them go to school and learn skills to change their future. She also bought her old compound in Oshodi, not to live in it, but to turn it into a free learning center for poor children. The neighbors who once mocked her now called her Madame Monica. 2 years after the wedding, the sound of babies crying filled the Johnson mansion. Monica gave birth to a set of twins, a boy and a girl. Adam held her hand as tears slid down her cheeks. "They're beautiful," he whispered. "We'll name them after my parents," she said softly, "Jonathan and Amanda." Adam kissed her forehead, and at that moment, beneath the bright lights of the hospital room, they smiled at each other like two people who had crossed deserts and found rivers. Monica stood one morning on the mansion balcony, her babies in her arms, watching the sunrise over Lagos. She remembered the girl she once was. No money, no family, just a tray of bread and her mother's words. "You don't need to have everything to help someone. From the little you have, give to someone who truly needs it." And she had. That single loaf of bread had led her to love, to destiny, to a life bigger than her dreams. And as the golden sun rose over the city, Monica whispered with a tear in her eye, "Thank you, Mama. I gave what I had, and God gave me everything." What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you like this story, comment, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.